This episode is kindly sponsored by Amanda.
Dankeschön. Lumos. Hello friends, welcome back to Shell Cottage Radio. I'm your host Ezra, aka Bill, also known as your friendly tech wizard, the former captain of the Hufflepuff Quidditch team, the flannel wizard, yours truly, me. Please welcome your lovely design witch, the fascination of fourth year, and my wonderful co-host and yours, Lottie, aka Fleur.
Hello, that was a little early, but still, schön, dass ihr da seid. Willkommen zurück to our little cottage on the outskirts of Tinworth. Come on in. We're just going to roll with it, sweetie.
I feel like we're on fast forward mode. This is the fastest intro you've ever done in your life.
This is the 12th episode of Shell Cottage Radio, in which we will discuss Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 4, The Keeper of the Keys. As always, before we start our chapter discussion, we're going to chat a bit about life at Shell Cottage, give you the latest Potterwatch news, and quiz Bill with a couple of trivia questions. First and most important, babe, how is life?
Life is good. That is the fastest intro we have done in a while. I guarantee people like picked up their phones and were like, am I at 1.5 on this or 2? Did I speed this up? I made a joke with Lottie. I was like, well, we got a new chair for her. She's sitting in a very stiff, straight-backed chair because she's got her little workspace going on upstairs. And I made the joke. I was like, oh, maybe it'll speed things along. You know, like if you're sitting there, you know how like a kid might want to get more done quickly if they're sitting in an uncomfortable chair. I don't know.
It worked.
So it's just kind of funny that it worked that way. I'm great because I just got up from an abnormally long nap. And it was great. It was great. I'm not going to lie. I also feel, though, you know, when you get up like that and you, like, took one middle of the day and it's summertime and you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with me? I can't wait for, like, kids and the excuse to just, you know, go. Nap time.
I know.
Ain't seen, where's Ez? I haven't seen him in a while. So, I don't know. I was, like, really tired or something. I don't know what was wrong with me.
Honestly, I think there's nothing wrong. It's just their body needs it sometimes. And I think we didn't get enough sleep the last couple of nights, so... Yeah,
we need to get that new mattress, you know? We were joking about going to my dad's tonight. He's away for the weekend, so we go over and kind of just camp out, take over the house. It's nice. But anyway, yeah. So I'm feeling great, really happy. Just good. I feel like we're in the... Let's see here. It is July 13th. So we're actually posting this, hopefully, fingers crossed, same day we record it, because we were supposed to record it this morning, and we're trying to get that Wednesday upload. We're going to have a nice, cool episode coming up again on Friday.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. We're going to have some guests on the podcast.
Very special guest to this podcast.
Oh, boy. Get ready for that. But anyways, yeah, I'm feeling good. Got my coffee and ready to go. I'm reading out of my Hufflepuff version. Thank you. I was thinking as we were doing the intro, I'm like, I'm really proud to be a Puff, you know?
Let's go.
I feel like people should be proud of their houses or proud of whatever it is that they're into their thing, you know? Their house, if they're, I don't know, a wand maker, if they're whatever you're into. I feel like you gotta be proud of it.
Yes, true. And I'm actually really excited for the episode in, I think, 2 weeks. I'd have to check again. End of July, we'll have the episode about the houses when we talk about the Sorting Hat, and we'll have a special guest there too.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. And even today, we're going to talk a little bit about Hufflepuffs.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Are we? Okay,
we
cool.
We are. Yeah.
Spoiler.
It's a little surprise.
I didn't know. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm doing great though, sweetie. How you doing? You doing okay?
Yes, I'm learning something new. I think I've shared this on this podcast. So I am into 3D art, and it's not really something you would learn like, you know, one afternoon. You just feel like, I want to learn a new skill, and I just really get into it for 4 hours, and then I can start making stuff.
Right.
It's more like you have to be patient, and there's so many things you can do. And I'm having fun with it. So I really love learning it. I love watching videos and getting into it and trying different things. But when you learn a new skill, sometimes you just hit a wall. You just, I don't know, you just hit that, you lose a little bit of momentum because you feel like you're not getting anywhere.
Or you reach a point where you're like, wow, there's still so much to do.
Yes, there's still so much I could learn. I still can't really, move on my own, almost like a kid that learns how to walk.
See, the cool thing though is like you're actually talking about something really interesting, awesome, super techie, whatever, but I hit that wall when I go to like clean my bedroom. You know, I get started and I'm like, God, there's so much
To
left.
do.
I had all this momentum. I made the bed, you know? So, no, I'm proud of you because like you did. You pushed through that wall and you kind of really kept going.
Yeah,
And
that's the key. You just got to keep going. They all say it. You just got to push through that first.
because it'll probably happen again.
Yes. Yeah. You first set out. You're super motivated. You are trying to do everything at once. You do it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and then it's like, wow, there's still so much left to do. And
Yeah.
I haven't even mastered the other things I've already done. I kind of know how to do it now. But they all say it's a journey and you got to be in it long term.
Yeah.
And just practice.
Yeah.
Just like any skill. So.
Which is what you're doing, and I'm proud of you because you made some really cool stuff, and you're kind of learning a lot of different things, different programs, different stuff. The research you're doing is really cool, and it's like actually kind of exciting. You know, as a teacher, this was last year too. I had kids come in, and I would always give them 5 minutes to kind of talk, to chat, what's going on. I think I've said this before, but they would pull out some stuff that was the coolest little bit of artwork or a little recording that they made of their music, their violin playing that they did for some audition or whatever. And you're like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just really, really, really cool. And then because I think the easiest one is we see, you know, kids playing sports and we see their tryout, then we see their performance on the field. And like, that's awesome. And it is. And we celebrate those kids. And I want to celebrate all sorts of, I had a dungeon master start to display last year, like, or show some of the hidden gems, I guess, in the world he had created, this new story. And I was like, wow. The time that he took to put in that story and to develop the twist and the turns and the journey that he was creating just for his friends to experience some fun D&D was awesome. So
That's
I guess
cool.
I say that to say, like, yeah, we're all kind of, everyone is doing something, working on something. It could be even just, you know, I mean, even just some people just are readers, big time readers. They want to read through a bunch of stuff, or you want to teach your kids something or whatever. It's just really cool to kind of see those things, I guess, you know, or to hear about them and celebrate them. So.
Right. And yeah, everybody should be creative in some way. And that
have a little creative outlet.
You shouldn't put a label on it like, oh, I need to be, you know, this good. It's anything you create has value.
Yeah, it's wild because we're all like in. Sometimes I apologize, guys, because sometimes I feel like we get a little like ridiculous. Like, okay, guys, like as I almost said, like it's like life, you know, life is art or whatever. My dad's out there playing golf with a broken toe. You know, is that art? I mean, there was some artwork out there, so that's like a massive display of talent out there on the course the other day. But you know, I don't know. I just want people to do their thing and be happy and all that good stuff. So,
and I feel like whenever I try to grasp or imagine what's this magical power in their blood that the wizards and witches have, I feel like it has a lot to do with creativity. Even though, you could say, okay, Voldemort has like tons of power, right?
Yes.
But I feel like you gotta be somewhat creative to imagine what you want to do. Yeah. Before it's almost like, I think they talk about it when they learn how to apparate. And it's so funny because last episode we talked about apparition. I don't know why we talk about apparition.
Oh, because we wish we could.
But I think they tell you need to like already imagine yourself in that space over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have a ring or a target where they want to go, right? And that's how I feel like you got to be. That's what we as muggles, air quote, muggles.
Yes, watch what you call me.
We're not muggles. Excuse me, I graduated from Beaubaton.
Whoa.
I don't even know if that was...
that was cool.
Just kidding. But even, you know, muggles... They can do the same thing with imagine something and then bring it to life. You just need the tools. And hey, wizards, they happen to have this wand as a tool, and we have to create our own tools to do it.
It's still the power behind, the thought behind it, all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
I get you.
So sorry. How did we get here?
No idea. It's my fault. I let us down that path.
Super deep at the beginning here, but.
Hey, so let's move on to the next topic here. We want to tell you guys that we appreciate you, and we appreciate you guys who are checking out the extendable ear editions and who have left us a review, and some folks who have, you know, signed up on Patreon and things like that. Okay. You guys are just wonderful, and we like giving you that shout out at the top of the show.
Please.
So I just feel like you guys are great, and we appreciate you, and we're going to have some guests on the show in the future. So we talked about our friends, and then we're going to have, a few more folks, I think, join us. I did see, let me see, I said I would do this, that we had, from the Lotmans. So a review. That's what I love listening to you guys. So we mentioned them last episode.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So I have a fairly similar story. Also, like the neutral feel and flow of the conversation. Keep it up. So I said we would give shout outs to people who left reviews, and there we go. There's one. We also have Love Shell Cottage Radio from Slumber Party Girl. Let's go.
Cool.
She sounds cool.
That's a cool name.
Like, that's it might be somebody we already know. That just, you know how like when you leave a review on something, or maybe it's your like Apple ID or whatever. It's a little different than like your normal handle for like your social media or whatever. It's been kind of funny because I've like mentioned some on other projects. I've mentioned like reviews with different names, and you're like, I don't know who that is. And then you find out that person comes forward later, like, yeah, it's me, and that's like an old username that they had from like way back in the day.
Yeah, so apologies if that's someone we should know and we just don't recognize your name.
Yeah,
or
but
your handle.
Shout out. So appreciate everything they said there. Just, really feels like they are stopping in for a visit, sitting around for coffee and a chat, right? So deep kind of wizard conversations. So thank you for that. Appreciate everybody because it helps the podcast and it keeps kind of pushing us out there and things. And we are actually excited to like really be more a part of the Harry Potter. Oh, hi. Harry Potter fandom. See how you know why I said fodder, because I was going. The word was fandom. That's where I was going to. Oh, Mimble Wimble.
Oh yeah.
My gosh, no, but we are excited. I almost did it again. To be a part of the Harry Potter fandom. And like we want to go, for example, let's see what's coming up. Oh yeah, Wizardly World of Kent is coming up. And so we're excited for that. And actually I think if it's okay, I'm not sure if I'm reversing segments here or not, but I wanted to mention something in our Potterwatch segment.
Sure, go ahead.
Is that okay?
We're just going to have Potterwatch.
Okay. There we go.
Right now. Because we're flexible.
Sick. By the way, clutch move on your part over there, because I'm guessing we had a different segment first, but I just jumped us to Potterwatch. Because, friends, we have coming up, we're going to be at Wizardly World of Kent, which is going to be awesome. We're going to take the mics up there, see some of our friends. Hopefully we see, take the robes. We're going to make some videos, see other witches and wizards. It's going to be fun. And we're excited to go up there. But I wanted to mention, too, if you happen to be in, like, near Tampa, Florida, there's also a place, it's called Plant City. This is no joke. I had to look this up.
Okay, cool.
Downtown Plant City will soon be transforming for a celebration of the fictional character Harry Potter. Right? They're going to celebrate his birthday, July 29th, from 5 to 9 p.m. at McCall Park. Okay. And it's just like this beautiful downtown where they're going to do similar to what Kent does. And I started looking up more of these. There's probably one of these in your area. There's probably a town somewhere that does this. It seems to be a summer kind of festival thing where Etsy shops can show up and they have different vendors and they do trivia, cosplay, all that kind of stuff. Because Harry Potter doesn't really have, it's got LeakyCon, and there's probably other conventions that I just don't know about. So if you guys know about those, like, let me know.
I just moved to the country, so I don't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know. And I feel like I should know more, and I don't. But I'm pumped for that. I think that's really cool, and happy to be going to Kent. And then if you're in Florida, that might be something cool you can go check out. And if you know of more in your area, like, let me know, because in the future I think we'd be down to go to different like cities, right? And just we have time in the summer sometimes just to go
festival hop.
Yeah, go for a drive or whatever, and I think it's a lot of fun. The other big thing that I guess, this is not really breaking news or anything, that the Hogwarts Legacy game is coming out this fall, and we're all kind of excited. Did you know it was like the #1 downloaded like thing on PlayStation's like YouTube page or whatever? So like the trailer,
really?
Yeah, it was like one of the #1 watched things over there. And
let's go.
Based on that alone, they're like,
everyone's
okay,
excited.
This has a large audience and a lot of people. It caught a lot of people's attention. So I feel like they're still, it's going to be awesome. And one of the things that kind of came out is some Reddit users found out some of the interface, and they found a couple things in the gameplay footage that were actually, sometimes it transitions between like a cinematic sort of scene, and then also you were just playing the game. So they figured out some of the controls and different stuff. I'm not really super into that kind of stuff. I'm just like, whenever the game comes out, like, let's go. But they were saying it looks, that from just sort of their analysis of it, and comparing it to other gameplay, they really like it, and they think it's going to be really, really good.
Just to mention the computer game again, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, because I mentioned every episode because I love it so much. But that really, like, I am beyond excited for this game because I hope it brings back that feeling of playing the old PC game.
Well, I actually want to make, because
better.
I know Lottie won't mention this herself, but at some point, she's a little gamer. I don't know if you guys know this, but Lottie is a little gamer. Like, hardcore, actually. More than I really understood. She could just play games all day long and be satisfied and happy, and it's great. And that's also why I think you like the 3D art and the video game world, and like building out kind of like, you know, that like a scene or something too, which is really cool, because some of the artwork in video games, it's so beautiful.
It's legit. Yes.
Yeah, it's just so cool. I was playing Destiny last night, by the way. If there's anybody out there who wants to play Destiny on PS4 and you want my gamer tag, it's literally womprat_2M. And you want to challenge me to a little one-on-one, let's go, because I'm down. So just literally add me on PlayStation, and we'll go at it. But yeah, so because I love it. When I'm in that world, it's just so cool to see. I don't know, you're on a different planet, you're in a different space, it's magical. So, anyways, I say all that because the video game's gonna be coming out.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy, and you're probably gonna be streaming it. You're probably going to be playing and streaming it. What do you think? No? I'm like, right?
Yeah, I don't know how yet, but that's news to me.
I'm just in faith putting out there that it's going to happen. So this will be in the fall.
Let's just say it's going to happen.
Let's just believe that.
Okay?
Let's just put that, so anyway, if you're sitting around and you want to kind of, check in, we'll put links for that later and we'll let you know. But I just love, because you do so many cool little things and you know so much about video games, like the cutesy video games and stuff, and like Harry Potter, that I'm just like, I don't know any of that stuff, and it always is very impressive to me.
Yeah, don't overestimate me because I don't know that much.
Well, but
I just like
of
to
the
play.
games you play, of the games you play, like you know a lot of them and stuff. So I just think it's cool because you just know more than I do, and so and I feel like I know a decent amount about video games, but
you do.
But you know a lot. And so it's just kind of interesting. So I wanted to throw that out there for friends in case you guys wanted to, stream or hang out or do some stuff, I don't think it'd be fun. The coolest thing, back in the day, I used to have a little YouTube channel where we did stuff with Destiny.
Really?
Yes. So, actually, it wasn't really my YouTube channel. I just kind of participated in it.
Okay.
And I'm trying to even think what it was called at this point in time. And my face was never on it. My voice was never on it. My character in Destiny was on it.
Oh, okay.
And I was just a part of their, going on the raids and doing stuff. But it was awesome because we did tutorial runs, and the guy who was over in England who did sort of like the read-overs, it was really cool because like he would take you through to different boxes or to different caves and would show you how to get certain items and stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, like the hidden gems, you know what I mean? So when Hogwarts Legacy comes out, I feel like there's gonna be those things, codes and stuff like that. Kids love that kind of stuff. Yes. I love that kind of stuff.
Me too. Even though I don't necessarily play like Destiny. I play more like Pokemon, Zelda.
Yeah.
Mario, Animal Crossing. What else? Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Did I mention that I play Pokemon?
She'll mention about 5 more times. Like
but I also
every Pokemon game.
Love. I think I mentioned it last time. Yeah. Anyway, love retro gaming now.
Yeah, retro games.
Just old games when I was a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
long time ago. Like. Yeah, right. Have you ever seen a speed run of a game?
Yes.
Where people do speed runs? Yeah. That's really cool.
That's really cool, yeah.
Those are fun. Those are really fun. So, anyways, all right. Enough about games. Just wanted to kind of throw it out there. It's something coming out this fall. I think we'll all be cozy. Just imagine the fall drinks that we're going to have. Pumpkin spice,
Yeah.
And getting ready for the holiday season and then have some...
I'm so excited.
Hogwarts Legacy or something. That would be sick. So,
honestly, just last thing I'm going to share here. I'm just... Because we mentioned games and everything and cozy, and we're a cozy podcast, so lately I'm obsessed with like cozy gaming setups, and I'm like I'm gonna make myself one.
Oh yeah.
Because it just to me is like the most, I don't know, beautiful thing if you have like a nice lighting and nice clean but yet decorated desk and then some shelves and some items, and some people have like retro, like old Game Boy Colors displayed there, and I don't know, little maybe what are they called, Funko Pops or other figures or books.
Yep.
It's just so cool. You can be so creative with it, and it just looks so nice. And
Well, it's
gives
cool.
me peace.
It does, actually. And you showed them to me, and I was sort of like, this is actually really nice. And it gives you an instant, like, good feel
Yes.
every time you swipe across it on, like, Shorts or TikTok or whatever. I'm always like, it's awesome, So, yeah, it's great. I'll be looking forward to that in the future. All right, friends, what do we got next?
We got trivia, sweetie.
All right,
2
I'm ready.
questions each episode. And if
Wait,
you're
2
wondering
questions?
if you're wondering now why there's nothing in the doc, because I hid them from you so you can't see them.
Yeah, I was actually looking to make, like, a little, like, note.
Yeah,
in the
you
doc,
can't.
and I couldn't find
You
it.
cannot look them up beforehand.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
First question today. Who was headmaster or Okay.
Uh-huh.
First question today. Who was headmaster or headmistress at Hogwarts when the Chamber of Secrets... Wow. Okay, let me do one more time. Don't look it up.
I'm not.
Okay. Who was headmaster or headmistress at Hogwarts when the Chamber of Secrets was opened for the first time? And I want full name.
I know that guy.
You know him personally.
It's the guy, yeah.
Okay, so you know it's a
Yes.
headmaster.
I know his last name. Dibble,
Almost.
right? No, it's not Dibble.
It sounds like
Double?
that almost.
Double?
The DI is correct. I can confirm
Diddle?
that.
Is it Diddle?
No.
What is his name? The guy, Professor, the guy.
Oh, I should put you on a timer.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's see. I feel like I know his. I can't think of his name. I know his name. It starts with D-I.
Yes, it does. Duh.
Not Daedalus. So I'm
No.
thinking Diggle now.
Diggly.
I'm not going to go there.
It's very close, actually. So, do you have any clue what
Dip
his...
it.
Dip it.
Dip it.
Yes.
Daggone it.
Dip it.
Just dip it in the sauce.
Yeah. Armando.
Armando
Help me
Dip
with
it.
it. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's his name.
I knew it. I
Armando
knew it. There's
Dip
too
it.
many. There's too much.
Well, we're gonna get so good at trivia that every time we learn something new, and now we know it's Armando Dip it.
Dip it. Like dip it into the sauce.
Yes.
Just remember that. We'll put that on a shirt for you guys. Professor Dip it into the sauce. Sorry. I have to do that kind of stuff to remember things, It's actually really good people can't, like, mind read. Maybe they can. I actually kind of believe that some people can. But that they can't, like, look into my mind because, especially when I'm trying to remember names or, like, students' names and, like, just whatever the trivia might be. Like, you think of something strange in your mind. Like
to remember it.
to associate it with or whatever.
Like an anchor, something to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. But it helps.
Almost like the technique where you put, if you want to remember a lot of things,
Yeah.
you put them on parts of your body, like my shoulder, my arm, my hand, my knee, and then like almost like my grocery list. Okay, apple, you go tap your shoulder. Cheese, you tap your hip. Tomatoes, you tap your knee. And then you do that like 3 times, and once you go to the grocery store, I bet you will remember it.
That didn't make any sense because if I were going to memorize my grocery list and tap a part of my body, I would say cheese, tummy, apple, tummy, bacon, tummy. That's where they're going,
Oh, that was such a dad joke.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get,
Oh, I love it.
more of those.
What
But
did we get there?
okay, so that was the first question. We're learning. By the way, if I were to associate Professor Dip it with a part of my body, it would be my index finger and my thumb finger, where I would grasp the cheese bread that I was going to dip into the sauce. So Dip it goes right here between my index finger and my thumb.
I know we just ate, but you make me hungry again.
I know, right? Couldn't you go for some cheese bread and like mozzarella sticks? Good God.
If we had some right now, I would just,
Ugh. Okay.
Okay. Next question, and it has to do with food. Slughorn
Yes, I like him.
teaches his students that amortensia
Oh, huh? Okay.
smells different to each person.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Yeah,
Amortensia.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smells different to each person. What food does Harry smell? And I give you four possible options.
Okay, thank God.
A, pumpkin juice.
Mm-hmm.
B, Mrs. Weasley's fudge.
Mm-hmm.
C, lemon drops. Or D, treacle tart.
What? See, isn't it based upon like a good food? Is it a food that you like?
I think so, because he also smells Ginny's perfume.
Huh.
And
Oh,
Hermione
gosh.
smells, I don't know if that's a book thing, movieism.
Yeah.
With the fresh grass and some other stuff.
Spearmint gum or whatever.
Because Ron always
Who
chews gum.
knows?
I don't know.
Uh,
Okay, so Harry, do you want to hear the options again?
Well, it was the Weasley fudge, Mrs. Weasley's fudge, treacle tart, and then lemon drops, and what was the other one?
Pumpkin juice.
Pumpkin juice. I'm gonna say it was. Yeah, lemon drops are just lemon drops. No.
Dumbledore probably would have said lemon drops.
Yeah, and I don't think so. Mrs. Weasley's fudge, yeah, possibly. Treacle tart, possibly. And then what was the other one? I'm missing. I don't have it in front of me.
Pumpkin juice.
Pumpkin juice? What? I mean, how?
We had four options.
Right?
Fudge,
did he have some
fudge.
significant memory with pumpkin juice? I don't think so. So I'm gonna go with Mrs. Weasley's fudge.
Nope.
Darn it, treacle tart.
Treacle tart. For
Son
some
of a
reason.
gun. I just wanted to go on record. I narrowed that down to 2. All right.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm 0 for 2 today. Gosh, dang it.
Yeah, but still, I was
Didn't get any
wondering.
house points.
Did you know? No, sorry. We should actually start that.
We should.
Maybe you have a question for me, and I have a question for you, and then we get points for Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and have a house cup at the end of, I don't know, the month?
The book or something, yeah.
Oh, the book? Yeah, the book's good.
That's a
Yeah,
good
that's a cool idea.
idea.
Here we go.
Because we're about to go to Hogwarts, so maybe we start it when we get to Hogwarts.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's
'Cause
a
we're
good
going
idea.
to Diagon Alley next chapter.
brilliant.
That's the Brill.
Okay.
That's the Brill idea.
By the way, just wanted to mention, I did not know what treacle tart was. So, do you know what that is?
I'm guessing it's like caramel and chocolate.
It's so Google tells me that it's a sweet pastry consisting of buttery short crust base and a gooey filling made from treacle,
Oh
which is like golden syrup.
my gosh.
It's from the United Kingdom.
You remember how we were there and we got all those different
Looks
shortbreads?
so good.
In Scotland, we
Yes.
had all the different like
Love it.
anything that was labeled shortbread. I don't understand.
We were down.
I don't know. We don't have that around here as much.
Yeah.
Like you go to our bakeries. I'm sure people have recipes for it and can make it, but I don't see it on the regular.
Yeah.
And every coffee shop or bakery had some sort of I don't know, like treat like that.
Yes.
So
The shortbread.
this is cool though. I
crust.
didn't really see this there though. You know, I didn't see a lot of, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. But treacle tart looks cool.
Yeah.
We should make some.
I wonder if it's actually because it's mentioned in the book. Maybe it's in the
I bet it
Harry
is.
Potter cookbook.
Yeah, we should try. We'll have to look through there and make some.
Let's
Show you
do
guys what's
it.
up because
Yeah.
people made the rock cakes. Remember we had
Yeah.
people like tag us and say
That was awesome.
we apologize. You guys probably made them better than we did. Because,
I hope you made them like according to the recipe.
Yeah,
Because the stevia powder we used, that made them really dry.
very dry. Also,
Yeah.
Lottie does not like to follow recipes, so she's like a little
sorry.
potion maker. She's like, oh, I'm gonna try. She's making pancakes this morning, and she's like, oh, maybe we'll do a little like salamander slime in this one. I'm like, are you talking about? Jeez.
Just because I tried to use almond milk instead of water to make the pancakes. Sorry.
It's all good. I'm just teasing. Okay. Awesome.
Alrighty,
Awesome.
risky.
Let's go. Oh, yeah.
What, you rescue these creatures?
Yes, that's right. Rescue, nurture, and protect them. I'm gently trying to educate my fellow wizards about them. Come on.
Welcome to our weekly Magi zoology lesson, and I'm gonna have you say that word at some point because it's really hard.
I'll try right now. Magi zoology.
Not bad.
Magi zoology.
Say that 3 times in a
Magi.
row. Magi.
Magi zoology. Magi zoology. Magi zoology. Magi zoology. Magi zoology.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive.
That's good, right?
Bill and Fleur
Hopefully
want
we're
to
saying it
learn.
right. Sorry. Go.
Oh, I'm sorry. If not, yeah, let us know if
We're
we
probably pronouncing it wrong. We're like,
mispronouncing
swear to
it.
God, you guys have no idea.
Bill and Fleur want to learn even more about magical creatures and fantastic beasts and share this knowledge with you guys so we can all appreciate them more. Newt would be proud of us. This week, we'll take a closer look at my favorite beast, not the Acromantula.
Why?
I know you're wondering, why are we talking about the Acromantula at the beginning of Philosopher's Stone? Well, because I just want to get it over with.
What the heck? The other thing, too, though, I feel like we've talked about spiders. Haven't we? Did we at one point ever do a thing on spiders or something? I know we didn't do the Acromantula. I know we haven't done that, but I just feel like we've mentioned it because we've talked about the Costa Rica spider. They've come up before. Maybe it was Harry in his little cupboard and the spiders there.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, it's kind of...
Yeah, Harry's definitely not afraid of them. Not as much as Ron is.
Yeah, neither's Hagrid.
Yeah, and that was one reason why I chose them, because we're talking about Hagrid today, and we're going to talk more about Hagrid in the extendable ear edition.
Yeah, you don't always have a magical creature in a chapter that we can kind of talk about. So we're going to be bouncing all over the place. We're just kind of going through that book. It's just a little small segment of the show. And I like this because I never really know what you picked out. And yeah, I think you are trying to get over your fear of spiders.
I am, actually, yeah.
So
I'm getting better. I mean, I feel like the experience in Costa Rica must have healed me somehow, but then not fully. Not yet.
You know, in Australia, they have massive...
I do know. I've been there.
Massive
I'm
spiders.
very glad that I was only in the city and saw
massive. They get inside.
Mediocre.
They get inside.
I know. I don't want to think about it.
Like, I'm talking like bigger than my hand. You know what I mean? Like, just anyway. Sorry. All right, let's learn about the old...
I mean, they're nothing compared to Acromantulas, just to let you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Their classification is, of course, 5X's, which is known wizard killer, or impossible to train or domesticate. And fun fact, in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them book, it's like a version that used to be Harry's school book.
So he's got notes in it, right?
And there's some notes, and he added like a couple more X's.
Oh, I see. To the classification.
To kind of make sure,
people, let's just remember this one's...
dangerous.
Okay.
All right. So, the Acromantula is a monstrous 8-eyed spider capable of human speech. It originated in Borneo, where it inhabits dense jungle. Its distinctive features include the thick black hair that covers its body. Its leg span, which may reach up to 15 feet. Mm-hmm. And I believe for all my fellow metric users,
15 feet.
I think that was like... Oh, maybe I did not write it down. I'm so sorry.
I got you right here. 15 feet would be 4.5 meters.
Yeah. That.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the leg span, which would be 4.5 meters, you said. It has pincers, which produce a distinctive clicking sound when the Acromantula is excited or angry, and a poisonous secretion. The Acromantula is carnivorous and prefers large prey. It spins dome-shaped webs upon the ground. The female is bigger than the male and may lay up to 100 eggs at a time. Soft and white, these are as large as beach balls. The young hatch in 6 to 8 weeks, so pretty fast. Acromantula eggs are defined as Class A non-tradable goods by the Department of the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures, meaning that severe penalties are attached to their importation or sale. And I was wondering because then I was wondering if Slughorn, didn't he like smuggle something out of there? But I think it was the venom,
like
venom or something. Yeah. Still, I don't feel like that would be something you're allowed to trade.
No, I think he even says I just remember the film where he's just sort of like, he's like these go for top dollar. Mm-hmm. He's like, would he mind? No, he's good.
Yeah. So actually, which is interesting, Newt says in his book that they are not natural, if you will, but that this beast is believed to be wizard bred. So like, I mean, probably from spiders. and something else, or just added some magic, but
some dark wizard stuff.
right, and it's possibly intended to guard wizard dwellings or treasure, as is often the case with magically created monsters.
Huh.
And there's a footnote that says beasts capable of human speech are rarely self-taught. An exception is the Jarvey. The ban on experimental breeding did not come into effect until this century, long after the first recorded sighting of an Acromantula in 1794.
Okay.
So I guess like that does not include, we had this whole discussion about mer people and centaurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That probably does not include them because they're not really beasts, but they didn't want to be beings either because they were mad at the wizards.
Oh yeah.
So that we discussed that in an earlier episode. So despite its near human intelligence, the Acromantula is untrainable and highly dangerous to wizard and muggle alike. Rumors that a colony of Acromantula has been established in Scotland are unconfirmed. Harry crossed that out and said confirmed by Harry Potter and Ron Weasley.
Wow.
So, the Acromantula, a huge spider-like creature, and we all know it from the Chamber of Secrets, and that Hagrid actually, because we're talking about Hagrid this chapter, that he had a friend. I wanted to say he didn't breed them or anything.
No,
Aragog was just his friend, and it's not really known where he got Aragog from when he was in 3rd grade at Hogwarts.
Doesn't he say like a distant he came in a distant traveler's pocket or something when he was little? Or is that?
I thought that was
Norbert.
Hagrid?
No, because I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to look that up because I think he. But we don't know. It still even in that situation, we wouldn't know who that person is.
Right.
Yeah, because Aragog speaks and talks to us and is telling. That's in the movie anyway. That's like maybe probably a movieism. Yeah. Where he's talking about kind of, unless I'm wrong there, but yeah, traveling in a pocket of a distant stranger or whatever from a distant land or something, right?
Yeah, I mean they're more like they live in the jungle usually, right? So probably someone just brought him over to trade illegally.
Yeah, and here it is. So the quote, I came from a distant land. A traveler gave me to Hagrid when I was an egg.
Aragog himself said that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Yep.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yep, he was
clarifying
originally brought as an egg in a distant land. Came to Great Britain in the pocket of a traveler. Somehow the egg came into possession of Rubeus Hagrid, who at the time was a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Also, the etymology on this, I like looking this up because I teach a little bit about teach some etymology at school. Acro, meaning peak or high, right?
Okay.
Like basically like high, like being the highest or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the mantula, which would be tarantula in English, right? So.
Okay.
Acro, tarantula, acro, mantula. Yeah.
Makes sense. Interesting is also that most like actual like or non-magical spiders, they're not social. They just live on their own, right? Acromantulas, they live in a large colony. And did you know that Aragog
Aragorn, look out, he's back.
Aragorn had a wife. No, Aragog had a wife.
Yeah.
Mozak?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I wish you would ask that trivia question. Where did that come up at some point? I can't remember when it came up, but it might have been even back when I was on Swish and Flick.
Okay.
I did a few episodes over there, and I think I talked about that on that.
You did?
Yeah, I think I did, or it was being discussed at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
But or I've made the joke. Yeah, did you know this guy had a wife?
I know.
What?
And they lead the colony.
Again, he has
like the oldest couple.
He has all these children. Yeah, for sure. So,
did you know that during the third task of the Triwizard Tournament, an an Acromantula was positioned close to the cup.
I did not know that. Did our guy? So someone had to kill it.
I was wondering, because the other part that I didn't know was, or forgot maybe, was that in the Battle of Hogwarts, the Forbidden Forest colony participated in the battle, right? So, and Hagrid, he was captured by the Death Eaters after he was lost among the swarm in his efforts to protect Aragog's offspring.
Wow. He
He was there to protect the spiders, the Acromantulas, and that makes me wonder, for the Triwizard Cup tournament, they used an Acromantula and they possibly killed it.
Didn't run that by Hagrid, no.
Probably didn't talk to him first, or
yeah, it was from a different
maybe
colony.
That was a different colony. Yeah.
Had to be. Wow.
Just fun facts about Acromantulas.
Okay.
Question of the question, though. Would you want to have, or I should say, not just have? Some beasts you don't possess, or you're not the owner. But
For sure.
Would you want to have or befriend an Acromantula?
Tricky question, because if I ever got in a situation where they decided to come like attack our town, I would want to be the Hagrid in that situation where they're like, you know what, that guy was friendly to us, and it's like, yeah, just let them have their space and work in nature as they will. Keep them away from our towns, and yeah, they don't want to be in our towns necessarily. So yeah, I feel like I would be a friend. I would be a friend.
Okay.
But I would not.
You would not seek out to befriend them.
No.
Just if they would be around, you would try to be a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I would just want to stay away from them.
Right.
As far as I can.
But see, that's my role here, right? When there are spiders in the house, I remove them from the house. Okay?
Yeah, you're the best.
And
Thank you.
I speak to them. I take care of them. I say, guys, look, sorry. It's our house, you know? There's a tree right out there. You can go.
Right. I sometimes wonder, what are you waiting for? There's no bug coming by to land in your net and that you can eat. Like, what are you doing here?
We don't really have a lot of flying.
If anyone knows more about spiders, why they do that, please let me know.
Yeah, why here? Anyway. All right, friends. Well, that was our little magizoology lesson.
Let's go. Let's dive into the chapter.
Okay. This is the main part. Here we go. This is our summary of Chapter 4, The Keeper of the Keys. Would you like me to read it?
I would love to hear your voice.
Oh.
Read out my little summary.
This is a great summary. You do a great job on these. So, a giant... Wow. I almost said spider. A giant surprise is...
Can you imagine?
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
A giant spider is waiting.
I was like, that's a surprise. Because I was like, that is a surprise to me. Anyway, a giant surprise is waiting outside the door of the hut on the rock. Rubeus Hagrid, keeper of the grounds and keys at Hogwarts, doesn't bother to wait for the Dursleys to invite him in, and instead demolishes the door to come to Harry's rescue. He knows Harry has not been getting his Hogwarts acceptance letters, so he came to hand-deliver it to the young wizard himself. Vernon tries to stop the half-giant and threatens him with a rifle, which Hagrid just laughs at. The gamekeeper folds up the gun like a balloon twister at a fair and just tosses it in the corner of the room. Finally, Hagrid gets to speak to the amazed Harry and hand him his letter. In horror, he also finds out that... I cannot. We will come back to that in just a second.
Sorry.
Just saying, thank God you guys cannot see the visual in this episode. I unfortunately can't. That's why I'm laughing, because Lottie, language barriers. Okay, language barriers.
Okay, why?
All right.
Why? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna bury my head in the book and
We talked about this last night, which
not
is why
look at you.
which is why I'm laughing, and I can't even move on when you do that kind of stuff.
Sorry, just
Okay. All right, here we go. So, in horror, he also finds out that Harry knows basically nothing about his own abilities, his parents, or the Triwizarding world. It's like, oh my God. All right, we're good.
I'm so sorry. I'm the worst.
Here we go. Here we go. You are literally that student or that friend in class that I'm in trouble because I'm laughing out loud, and you are the one silently laughing. You're keeping it in. It's really.
I'm gonna keep my mouth away from the microphone
All
for
right.
a second and
Here we
not
go.
look at you. Okay.
That's fine. It dawns on Hagrid that he is the one who has to tell him all about his parents' death, and it makes him furious towards Harry's aunt and uncle that they've never bothered to tell him the truth. The Dursleys seem to feel no shame or guilt at all. After Vernon fails to shut up Hagrid, Petunia goes on a rant and talks about her over the years built up feelings towards her little freak sister and her weirdo of a husband. Her blurting out that Lily and James got themselves blown up rather than dying in a car crash leads to Hagrid nervously telling Harry what exactly happened the night his parents were murdered by the Dark Lord. Are you laughing at that? This is a Dark Lord. What's wrong with you? I'm so sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
I think
the
we're
worst.
switching role. I think you're
I'm
editing the
worst.
episode now.
Yeah, I am.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. He feels sad and extremely sorry for James, Lily, and Harry, who became an orphan that night, just like himself. They're... Okay. All right. There we get a first glimpse of his big heart and empathy and also his loyalty, because Hagrid finally loses his temper when Vernon makes a last attempt to prevent Harry from going to Hogwarts and dares to call Albus Dumbledore a crackpot old fool. In revenge, he promptly gives Dudley a pig's tail. Eventually, the Dursleys give up in panic and shock and retreat to the other room. Harry and Hagrid decide to get a few hours to sleep in before they start their journey to Diagon Alley the next morning, although I don't think I could have slept that night if I was Harry. Wow. The land of 1,000 edits, the summary that we do. Good God.
What if you just leave it in unedited?
I could do that, and maybe we
People
will.
would get annoyed.
You would probably get annoyed.
Oh my
because
gosh, my throat hurts.
I do a lot of short videos where I read a summary or I read like a thing, and I just can never do it when Lottie's sitting across from me, because if I mess up or I say things like I said earlier, like the Harry fodder fandom, like I get tongue twisted, mimble wimble, and it just happens. And so then she starts laughing and we can't stop.
I'm so sorry. My throat is sore because I tried to stop myself from laughing and that hurts now.
Yeah, it's wild. I bet your book is literally just ruined because she had her face in her book. All right, anyway, there's your summary.
Thank you so much, sweetie. I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you too. So let's kind of dive in. I'm going to talk through the first half of this, and we've actually kind of decided just to do some bigger takeaways, from the different halves of the chapter. So I'll do kind of my takeaways and then get some commentary from Lottie, and then we'll flip. How does it sound? Good? All right.
Yes. Let's go.
All right, friends. So, yeah, I guess one of my first things was, did he mean to knock that door down? And he did, right? I mean, in your summary, you kind of said that, like, he just... all he had to do... boom, there's the knock, right? They knocked again. Mm-hmm. Dudley jerks awake. Did he actually mean to knock it off, or is that just Hagrid? He's just massive?
Actually, we're going to talk about that in the Extendable Ear Edition. About Hagrid's superhuman strength. And
really?
he has to control himself a lot.
Wow, okay.
Because he's so strong and...
half giant.
Mm-hmm. Half giant, yeah.
Half giant.
So I think he just maybe meant to knock harder because no one was answering, and then by accident, the door was not really resistant anyway.
Yeah. He just knocks it off the hinges on accident. That's what I was thinking, is that he really didn't mean to do it, and just sort of knocked it out. Because he comes in and his first thing is "Oi, wouldn't mind a bit of tea," right?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my terrible British accent. Couldn't make us a cup of tea, could you? Right? It's not been an easy journey, and he's met with an armed Uncle Vernon. And this package that he has, right? He has that long package that we find out, it's a gun. Kind of reminded me of like the broom in the movies, how the broom is like, it's wrapped, but really we all know it's a broom type of thing.
Yeah.
This, at least, we didn't know, when you're first reading this, you don't really realize that that's a gun. He's brandishing a rifle here.
Right.
So, and as you said in the summary, again, that's just, his strength is insane. He doesn't need magic, right? Just able to like just turn that rifle into a little, knot and toss it in the corner.
No,
so.
yeah, that's definitely like magical strength if you want.
Yeah. Also, though, they talk about giants later on in the series and how spells kind of bounce off of them, and sometimes spells don't really work as much on Hagrid. That's another interesting thing too. Which
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna talk about that in our extendable year edition. But I just think that's kind of fascinating to think about. This is the guy to send. It's also probably why Dumbledore like trusts him so much.
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
send
Later
him.
on, in I think when they get their school equipment in the sixth book,
Mm-hmm.
they are sent. Hagrid is sent to kind of, oh my gosh. A company. Okay. Hagrid is kind of sent to accompany Harry, especially Harry, but also Hermione and Ron. They just to not, because even Diagon Alley is a dangerous place and people are careful, and Hagrid is sent to protect them.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I would trust him for sure with the protection of, like someone important to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, all right. So Hagrid's the guy that's sent, and this is kind of an awesome scene. I mean, they do a really good job of this in the movie. I feel like it kind of goes down in a very similar fashion. But I feel like it's just think of a situation where you didn't know something, some monumental secret that's been kept from you by people who were like in your life, close to you, near you, and you find out from another person. They were never going to tell, right? Petunia and Vernon were never going to say anything about it. And this is probably the worst chapter, I think, for them, because before you can kind of be like, okay, whatever. But like now I guess the veil of deception is down, and they're kind of really revealed.
Yes.
Like in terms of how awful they are, and what Vernon says, and I think this is maybe even in your part later, but just how nasty he is about like Harry's mom and dad.
Yes.
And it's just sort of, that part's a bit disgusting.
And some build-up feelings.
Yeah, just weird.
In Mrs. Dursley.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So anyway, because to me, it's like this whole, Hagrid comes into this not realizing what he's getting into. He's coming in thinking he's just delivering a letter. The Dursleys are being difficult. He's going to have to whatever. But the most difficult thing here, it's not confronting Uncle Vernon or taking him off to Diagon Alley. It's the emotional impact of having to convey all the stuff that Harry doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't expect this. He doesn't think this is going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah. I thought it was interesting, too. He has a cake, so he makes him a cake, right? He's so thoughtful.
That's so
Hagrid's
cute.
always, thinking ahead. He'll think again in Diagon Alley. I think he really did love his mom and dad, right? And he talks about them holds them in such high regard.
Yeah.
Later on in the chapter. Right,
Yeah.
all the time, yeah. And it would be kind of interesting to get more backstory on their relationship, and how they treated him and stuff.
I was wondering because Hagrid was a gamekeeper when they were at Hogwarts. You said that.
Oh, really?
He must have been, because once he was expelled in his third year, since then he's been like he was just almost like an apprentice. And he learned how to be gamekeeper, keeper of the keys,
Sure.
do all that stuff, and then he took over. So he must have been at Hogwarts when Lily and James were there. So I wonder if they, had a special relationship somehow with him and visited him too.
I guess I just mean that would have been kind of cool to know more about their relationship and where he kind of stood in terms of them. So we know he's close to Dumbledore, and that's really what matters, and they're close to Dumbledore. So, again, they're all kind of he's sort of the piece, I guess, that everyone is attached to,
Right, and they were all in the order, so
yeah.
worked together there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So because it's just cool because he's like saying he hasn't seen him since he was a boy and all this kind of stuff, and he has his mother's eyes, and all those really cool things happen, and that's something that's never been said to Harry. He doesn't know. Yeah. There's not even any pictures of his parents.
He doesn't even know, what they look like, really.
Right. So it's just kind of it's like a bittersweet thing, right? Because it's sweet because we're getting to learn more about it, and Harry's learning these things, but then he's overcome with emotions later on and stuff, and it's also his birthday, and he's getting this weird letter. So yeah, I just feel like it's really interesting. Now, the one thing about the cake, so something that the author does that's really well done is the use of color, magical numbers, and different, I guess, even wordplay around certain characters, and the way that I get like the connotation of words that she chooses around different characters help really bring those characters to life. But anyways, like the cake, I just thought was interesting. She uses the color green a lot, and she's actually used the color green quite a bit up until this point.
Yeah.
And then Harry thinks about, the color green later on, which I think is going to be in the second part of this chapter. But like the icing on the cake was green. I just want to throw it out there. You know?
Is that a good thing?
No, I think it's just a coincidence. But it's just one of those things that like
there's
why
you can now
it could have been
imagine
blue.
the cake with the colored icing. And I mean that's really neat. Like you have to do extra work to either buy food coloring, or like, you know, go the extra mile to do that icing.
Yeah, for sure. But you think about the movie and that what we've all seen, what we love, or you know, whatever. When you're going through doing the research in the books, like why are the movies so good? Because the icing is green on the cake. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's that attention to details. Right. His big overcoat with all the pockets and everything in it, and the fact that they just really stick really close to, I guess, a lot of the because I feel like J.K. Rowling had a good visual. It was very good, like visually represented what was going on in the story through words. Like gives you a lot of good words that you can kind of feel out or see the story in your mind, you know? So. And
they really, like you said, pay attention to the props and how a room looks like the common room. If you just stop a scene and look around, there's so much to see, and they really, you know, want you to feel like it's filled with either magical items or just cozy stuff, or wherever you are, they pay attention to detail.
Right. Yeah. So it's awesome. So anyways, he gets the cake out, gives it to him, and all is well there. Something else. Just really his back and forth with Vernon. So as he's kind of telling him this story, Vernon tries to interject from time to time, and Hagrid's just really dismissive of it. Yeah. And again, is sort of overwhelmed with this idea that you don't know, right?
Right.
Let's see. And he's I guess I truly haven't introduced myself. Hagrid said, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. So I wanted to ask you too, keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts. What does that mean?
That always threw me off. Like, what is the keeper of keys? You know, like, because I was, why that title? I was wondering, because to me,
really just means groundskeeper.
Filch would be like the one who has the keys and everything. You know, if you talk about like a janitor or something, someone who does all that, I would think, where would you go to get the keys from? I would go to Filch first. So I think he does, like you said, he is keeper of the grounds, and if someone wants to come into Hogwarts, I don't know where you would knock or contact Hagrid to do that, but he would let them in. And he also he closes the castle at night. But does he? Don't they sometimes leave the castle?
Well, it looks like Filch is the caretaker of Hogwarts, the school itself, and then Hagrid's responsible for the grounds and everything around it and stuff. And so, but I guess keys in terms of like the key into the ground, like through kind of the gate and stuff, right? So.
I always wondered if she had other plans for him when she made up that title, because later it's never really mentioned again.
Yeah.
You know?
Not sure. That's interesting. Anyways, so he says, go on again. So the giant took a... Oh, yeah, by the way, I wanted to mention, when he first gets in here, he keeps asking for that cup of tea. Yeah. No one ever gets it for him, so he just gets out his own teapot and his own sausages. And what else does he have?
And a bottle of some amber liquid.
Yeah.
That he took a swig from before starting to make tea. What was that?
Right. He's got chipped mugs. He's got the sausages. He's got the amber liquid. And later on when he goes to Diagon Alley, he's not. He's on Hogwarts business.
He's declining
a drink. Yeah, but he's having some tea and amber liquid and some sausages here. By the way, have you ever just had? I mean, Lottie knows I've had these, but I sometimes just like a good sausage. Just sausage by itself. I don't need anything else with it. It just tastes fine. I'm good.
And especially imagine you're Harry. You haven't eaten in days, probably.
Oh my gosh,
he's hungry. And then because I think Harry says somewhere, or it says like it was the best thing he've ever had or something.
Yeah.
And it's like the feeling when you eat something after, you know, like you really went through a period where you're hungry and you're hungry, and then it's already to a point where you're really hungry, and then you still have to make that food, and you you're already anticipating this,
Oh, yeah.
you know, the food, and it tastes so good.
So good. He was so hungry.
Yeah.
He had never tasted anything so wonderful. Right? It's one of those things where sometimes the food is not even, it might not be that special or that great, but you're in a moment where, as Lottie was saying, like you'll remember it. Like he'll remember those sausages for the rest of his life. The time when he was out there and they didn't have anything, they had an old bag of chips or something beforehand, and then this giant shows up with his letter, and he has like these delicious sausages, and he's got birthday cake there.
I mean, this is a complete change of, like you said, the scene and the feeling for Harry. Someone walks in. He looks scary, but he is nice to Harry and
excited
mean
to see
to the
him.
Dursleys.
Yeah.
First time in his life where that's happening. And he knows his parents. He brings food. He makes a fire in that little hut that's probably freezing cold at night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why the sausages taste good, but also the entire surrounding, the entire feeling, ambient adds to the good taste, I would say.
Well, and the other thing too is like as he's making these sausages, so it's almost too bad we didn't have the sausage sizzling and the skillet sound effect for you guys, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. But that's super quiet. No one else is like talking, and you can just hear him getting the tea kettle out. You can hear him kind of the fire is crackling or whatever, and he just sits there for a while and just sort of makes his own like food and stuff. And Harry's just sitting there kind of staring at him, I guess, in amazement or whatever.
So sorry,
yeah. Anyway, so it's really cool. And he kind of goes on to say that, again, Harry's like, I still don't know who you are, right? I really don't know. He's like, just call me Hagrid, right? Keeper of Keys at Hogwarts. You'll know all about Hogwarts. So he emphasizes Hogwarts is something you should know. And Harry's like, I got no idea. Sorry. He even says sorry. And he's like, sorry? And it's almost like, don't be sorry, you don't know that. Like, are you kidding me? He turns on Vernon and sort of goes off. So in the letter, you find out that Dumbledore was meant for Harry for at some point for Petunia or for Vernon to like kind of, I guess, like tell him more about his past and not tell him about a car crash. I mean, that's the other thing is that you bring up this car crash situation and it's just there's so much he doesn't know that it's awful.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So Hagrid is obviously shocked that Harry doesn't know any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Dumbledore knew or had a notion that they might not tell him? Might not have told him?
Yeah, I do.
And still send Hagrid and didn't tell him?
Yeah, it's weird. Dumbledore's the type of guy who does that sort of thing where it's almost like this. The greater thing there is to protect Harry and for him to feel protected, or for that enchantment to work. And so it's like, even though they probably aren't going to talk to him about his parents and he won't know anything about it, he's like, he's better off. Yeah. He's better off like growing up sort of coming from humble beginnings or whatever, and then he's going to get all sorts of attention when he goes to Diagon Alley at the school and everything, and he can kind of deal with that as he goes. Although, I mean, his whole life could have been different. He could have been... It's so weird because had Petunia have known really how significant he was and her sister and everything else in that world, like, there could have been a total different role, right? She could have been the aunt that was taking him into Diagon Alley and, like, kind of as her nephew. She could have been proud of him. Yeah. She could have been all these different things. But instead, it was really selfish and self-centered on just her. And then, because even Dudley, like if he was raised to have more respect or understanding just of his cut, like they sort of instill that and teach that to him.
Yeah.
And it could have been totally different, yeah. So
you're right.
I don't know. The whole thing's it's sad. But anyways, you guys know. So I mean, he doesn't even know his parents were famous. He doesn't know why he's famous. He doesn't know any of this. So Vernon's trying to he's like forbidding him to say anything.
Yeah.
Which tells you he had no intention. He's like, stop! I forbid you. Right? We swore when we took him in that we weren't gonna, we weren't gonna go down this route. And Hagrid, I love his insults. He comes back with, "Go boil your heads, both of you." Right? He's like, not having any of it. So, and then he tells him the famous line, right? "You're a wizard." Tells him he's a wizard, and he's like, "Oh, what?" a wizard, of course.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a kid and you're being told, like, by an adult, yeah, you're a wizard.
Well, and the neat thing is, too, is you can kind of see in Harry's mind, thinking back all the weird things that happened, which is going to come up here in a second, too. Just the idea that anything weird ever happened that you couldn't explain. And, like, as you go through all these different stuff. And then Petunia, like, of course, affirms it and says, how could you not be? And then you're like, wait a second, that's somebody who I would never. They don't talk. Right. They don't mess around with this kind of stuff. Like even when he's in Diagon Alley later, he says like, or when he wakes up the next day, he wonders if it's all a dream. But the Dursleys aren't into like this is not something that he thinks maybe they're playing a joke on him.
Right.
But he's like, nah, that's not in their wheelhouse. That's not what the Dursleys do.
They don't have any sense.
They don't have
humor.
fun.
Yeah.
No, that's not their thing. So, yeah, but. So yeah, that's really kind of it. At some point, there's a point where we drive to finally. Here's your letter, right?
Right.
It's about time that you read your letter, and we did a nice extendable ear edition before this episode about the letter and kind of breaking down all of it, and then the idea of how awesome it would be to get a letter. And so here it is. You want to read the letter, or what do you want to do?
Yeah. Do you want to read the letter?
Yeah. Just kind of so. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So it's titled with Headmaster Albus Dumbledore, but again, it is going to be signed by Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress. So, dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you have a place at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Please find and close a list of all necessary books and equipment. Term begins on September 1st. We await your owl by no later than July 31st. Yours sincerely, Minerva McGonagall. So awesome! They were waiting for his reply. He wasn't getting his letter that same day, and so we're gonna get that reply here in just a second. But I love it. I love the opening to this whole chapter with this back and forth with Vernon, the reveal of his story, and it's got to be shocking and overwhelming to Harry.
Oh yeah. I read now. Cool little Easter egg, if you want. Not really Easter egg, but like a cool little detail that now I see with other eyes when they introduce Headmaster and then all his titles, right? One of them, Supreme Mugwump.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool because I remember we watched Fantastic Beasts, the last movie, and I was like, oh, why did that never come up? Like, why was that never a thing that I've heard of, that they have this international
Confederation,
right?
Yeah.
And you told me, yeah, they do. Like, it's mentioned in the books. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And here we have it.
There it is.
In the first book, written in, 1990-something?
Well, the weird thing is,
Supreme
think about
Mugwump.
that, is that she had already the International Confederation of Wizards figured out, and then also, like, the British, sort of like the Ministry of Magic, right? I mean, that's a separate thing, and that fudge is mentioned in this as well, in this very same book. So it's not like she figured all that out later. It's like, no, she kind of understood going into it, the world building here, right?
Yeah.
All of the different factions or the system that was set up behind the wizarding world. What was their purpose? All that stuff. And then maybe she didn't have entirely figured out all of the International Confederation of Wizards or whatever, but she, along the way, that will kind of work itself out. But it's all sort of set up, and there's I guess, doors and avenues that she can use, right?
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
One little thing before you move on.
Yeah. Before we're switching gears. Yeah.
So cool, and I don't know, are we open for a new theory that Vernon Dursley might be some kind of wizard or a squib, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I missed that part. So what was that? That was, what did he say?
It's when, Hagrid finds out Harry knows nothing, and he's like, about, your world, my world, and your parents' world, and Harry's like, what world? And Hagrid looked as if he was about to explode, and he's like, Dursley! He boomed. And then Uncle Vernon, gone very pale, whispered something that sounded like Mimble-Wimble.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait a second.
Right.
Why? Because Mimble-Wimble is the tongue-tying curse.
Which has been happening to us for like the past 10 episodes.
Yeah.
But still, yes. But
he's trying to basically shut Hagrid up. He's basically trying to stop him from telling Hagrid. Wow. Here we go. Tongue-tied.
That's your Mimblewimble.
And he whispers Mimblewimble.
Yeah. So I wondered, Mimblewimble, which prevents an opponent from accurately casting their next spell. By the way, Gilderoy Lockhart on the usefulness of a tongue-tying curse in a duel.
Yeah.
Is pretty cool. So I wondered if it was like that. You have the tongue-tying curse, Mimblewimble. Is that what you say? It's a silencing charm. It's useful in dueling. So it's covered in the Book of Curses and Counter Curses. I guess I kind of wonder. So he says it. Is it not something that maybe the after effect, like if Hagrid were, for example, using the spell itself, but didn't use the actual out loud sort of dictation of it, but just used it secretly because he's not supposed to be using magic, and the outcome was that his opponent, Vernon, says Mimblewimble.
That's an interesting theory.
Like maybe as if you were to cast Mimblewimble on somebody, they would then stumble through their words, resulting in a sound that sounded like Mimblewimble.
Right, and Hagrid, yeah, I mean, that's an interesting theory because Hagrid really, like, he almost loses it there, he loses it later, and whenever he gets emotional, he uses magic later on because he's so emotional, and he can't control his temper almost because he's so mad that they didn't tell anything, and they're now trying to prevent Harry from going to Hogwarts, really. I was gonna say, like, my only theory that I have is, like, he picked it up somewhere when, I don't know, they were with Lily and James or something, and he's like, the wizard giant doesn't understand me. I'm trying to...
So are we saying here that maybe Vernon was also trying to cast Mimblewimble? Because here we go. On the 31st of July, 1991, Rubeus Hagrid is found out that Harry Potter had been told nothing of the wizarding world. He angrily rounds on Dursley, at which point Harry heard his Uncle Vernon whisper something that sounded like Mimblewimble, which was ironic considering Vernon was a muggle with no knowledge of spells. So they're really, I mean, my thought on it is that, like, Mimblewimble is the result of what Hagrid was doing. But you could also go back as far as when we did our little study that Vernon maybe picked it up from Lily and James back in the day and thought he could silence, it's a silencing charm, thought he could silence Hagrid by saying Mimblewimble.
Yeah, like
what? As desperate as he is, remember how you said in the last episode, he's going from these very normal activities and very logical, practical things to, like, now he's just doing outlandish, crazy, very un-Dursley-like things. But it's all to try to return to a place of normalcy. So if it's like, Vernon's sitting there, like, if I have to cast a spell right now, I will cast a spell to stop this. Like, I will cast a Mimblewimble spell to stop all this magic from happening. It's just, it is kind of ironic.
I like both theories. We never know. We never find out. It's never really confirmed or anything, but...
Wild. So, yeah, I'm glad you pointed out, because I didn't want to miss that. Because we've been kind of saying it throughout the episode because we talked about it last night, and I was just like, wow. Mimblewimble. There it is. Anytime we stumble now, from now on, we're gonna call
do a little Mimblewimble.
We're gonna call them Mimblewimble edits. So, all right, that's pretty. So actually, at this point, Hagrid sort of remembers. That's right. We have to reply by today. So he sends the letter back to Dumbledore. Do you want to read that part?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dear Professor Dumbledore, given Harry his letter, taking him to buy his things tomorrow. Weather's Mimblewimble.
Horrible.
Weather's horrible. Hope you're well, Hagrid.
In case you guys haven't figured out, horrible is a hard word for Lottie to say.
Horrible.
Yeah. So.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So that's he sent the reply back. So we're in time and met the deadline, which is good.
Yeah.
Gets the outback out there.
And I'm wondering, so I'm going to tell you what I've been wondering about, and you got to answer a question. Did Harry read the letter out loud? I don't think so, right? He pulled out the letter and read. So here we as reader read the letter.
Right, we
but
do.
Harry in the situation, he just reads it on his own, right? He doesn't read it out loud.
I don't know. It says he pulled out the letter and read. It doesn't say, I mean...
I imagine he didn't read it out loud for some reason.
Wow.
What would you do if you were handed a letter?
Yeah, so he just
And you
waits
just
a few minutes and then
really-
and he says, what does it mean?
Right.
So
That's what I imagine. Okay.
Yeah.
So now my question is, what did Dudley think about all this? Dudley had no clue whatsoever,
Oh, yeah.
in my opinion,
True.
that his parents never told, because they would never tell their little Duddykins what's going on,
No,
because
no,
they
no.
want to protect him. They
Right.
don't want him mixed up with all that sort.
Right.
And here he is, his daddy's gone mad. He doesn't even know why, because he has no clue what's in that letter.
Right.
He's like, why are my parents, going
Going
crazy
Yeah.
about this? And my cousin's never been important in, our life, really. And they've never really did anything because or for him. So why all of a sudden this change? And I'm always the one who can tell them what to do or whatever. And then they're in this shack on the rock in the middle of the, I don't know, lake, ocean, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there comes in a giant. And this is where I did the research.
Okay.
He's like 3.5 meters, Hagrid,
Okay.
tall.
Wow.
And yeah, now I don't know how much that is in feet, but that is like you cannot even say, oh, this is a very, very, very large, like tall person.
That's 11, that's 11 foot.
It's like double the size of a normal man.
It's 12 foot.
So that is like never, Dudley's never
that's
seen
me times 2.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone or something like that. And now his parents act even weirder because they're not even like as surprised that a giant just walked in, but they're trying to prevent him from telling Harry something.
Mm-hmm.
And then this giant just keeps saying, what? You don't know?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
And you're a wizard. And
Right.
there's a giant telling your cousin he's a wizard.
Yeah, well, it's also the thing that like the Dursleys don't react with laugh and scorn.
No.
It's terror and
Right.
how dare you and blah 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 and disgust and whatever. So that's also being picked up by their son, which is like, oh, they're not just laughing that's not a joke.
No, yes.
That's silly. That's
I'm
ridiculous. But he's seeing through his parents that no, this is real. And again, he'll find out again after he comes back from his first year and stuff. It's like again, Dudley will start to kind of tread a little differently around
Right.
Harry in the
yeah.
future, which is awesome. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, it's a big eye opener for him.
Yes.
A big moment.
I just wanted to point that out. As Dudley, this must have been like crazy.
Yeah.
And here his mom who does everything for him,
Yeah.
who would he means the world to her. All of a sudden has a almost like a confession to make,
Yeah.
and something that's been boiling up in her for years.
Right. It's something about her because typically everything's about him. And so for him to hear that this is nothing's about him right now, right? It's not
Right.
Harry.
Yeah.
The story with even his aunt who he doesn't know and his mom's freaking out, and his
Right.
dad's freaking. Nothing is about him.
No.
So it's got to be like one of those moments. It's like, oh, this is strange, very
Very-
strange.
yeah.
He also could be sitting there thinking, I really wish I could get my hand on one of those sausages.
I think so.
You
Yeah.
know, he might not even be really listening because he's also equally hungry and like wants some of that cake.
Oh yeah.
He's a kid.
It's so funny because I think that's a really good idea in the movie that they did that, because it's fitting that he just is so hungry that he wants to eat some cake, and he doesn't do it in the book.
Yeah.
He doesn't even eat the cake or anything, but I think it's cool that they did that actually in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
It made sense. Yeah. But I just wanted to, I don't know, talk about it and just point that out. And also that everything just bursts out of Petunia. Like this whole, Harry's like, what? You knew? You knew that I am a wizard? He could not believe it.
Yeah.
That they would know and
It's a
not
huge
tell him.
secret.
Yes.
Huge secret to keep.
And Petunia is like, knew? Of course we knew. And how could you not be my dratted sister being what she was? Oh, she got a letter just like that and disappeared off to that school and came home every vacation with her pockets full of frog spawn, turning teacups into rats. I was the only one who saw her for what she was. A freak.
Dang.
that's like
bitter.
very bitter because
So
I think she turned her jealousy into bitterness and turned it in her head kind of to protect her own feelings somehow. She turned it to be something bad, something abnormal, something you don't want to have because she actually wanted it so bad.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, sometimes I think we're all guilty to some degree of that, right? Of something you want, somebody else gets it, and you're sort of like, yeah, I really didn't want it, actually.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, that happens with me and ice cream all the time, right? It's like, so I see a kid with ice cream cone, I'm like, yeah, it's really bad for you, so just really shouldn't have it.
Yeah, that's about it. That's a good comparison.
Yeah. But you're about to go into your part here, and I kind of wonder, just as we think about, I'm going to look this up, but the grandparents, I'm guessing they never really mentioned the Lily's mom and dad, but they were happy because Petunia says they were happy to have a witch in the family.
Yeah.
But are they still around? And I think they must have passed on because otherwise they would have been.
Yeah. They would have been taken care of. Yes.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Could you imagine the different life?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Gracious. You know?
I mean, it's very unfortunate for that boy that all his relatives, all the grandparents, even though Lily and James were both very young when they had Harry, all are already passed away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sad. Yeah, it's true, because even the Potters.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, what are the odds of that? Because they were young.
I know. They were like in their early 20s.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up while you kind of, drive us forward there. But yeah. Yeah,
so Petunia basically admits that she knew everything, and they know that the parents obviously didn't die in a car crash. And now here's poor Hagrid, who's like, oh my goodness, someone has to tell him what really happened. Because they didn't and they will not. Mm-hmm. And before he goes to Hogwarts, someone has to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
And he's like, Harry, I don't know if I'm the right person to tell you, but someone's can't go off to Hogwarts, And I'm like, honestly, I think Hagrid was the perfect person.
He did a great job.
Harry.
Yeah.
I think he had enough empathy, but at the same time, enough just tell the facts. He just told him what he knew in very short words and very understandable words. And at the same time, made him feel, I'm so sorry for your parents because he loved them. And he's someone who knew his parents, who's worthy of telling their story, actually.
Right.
I would rather, not that I won't want Harry to wait that long, but rather Hagrid tell him the story than the Dursleys. How would they have told him the story?
Oh yeah, for sure. It wouldn't.
They didn't even understand what it all meant, really.
No, yeah, it actually, yeah, you're right. It's kind of in a weird way. You're almost happy that it was told to them, or that he heard the story from someone that he that loved his parents. Yes. Because that's the thing that he didn't understand. There's a line where Harry doesn't understand where this feeling of trust comes from. But it's because Hagrid is so just honest and loyal and just very emotions on the sleeve or whatever, and just was conveying his thoughts and feelings about Lily and James Potter. That it's like, wow, I've never heard anybody talk about my parents that way.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been spoiled, I guess, even a little bit.
Right.
Had his aunt have distorted it and stuff, So it would have muddied the water even more. They went from the extreme of just nothing to it was a car crash, we don't talk about it, to they were awesome. They were epic.
Yeah.
And,
they were actually heroes,
if
you will. Yeah. So Hagrid goes on, tells him the story in very short words, or I don't know. He keeps it short. But tells him all the details basically he knows, because most of it is actually still a mystery. He basically starts
it's like whether he went there or not, right? We're not really sure why Voldemort showed up that night.
No, yeah, he actually says something where they don't know why he never tried to persuade them.
Right.
The Potters, right? Because they were very good,
they're so powerful,
skillful family, and he actually makes that comparison later. So we get that he doesn't know about the prophecy, obviously.
Mhm.
No one really knows
Right.
why
So, yeah.
he did what he did.
Comes up later.
Sorry. Yeah. Did you want to say something?
No, yeah, that's the whole point. I just think it's really cool that Hagrid kind of he doesn't know the full story himself, and that he really does kind of convey what the wizarding world thinks or believes. Maybe Voldemort went there to recruit them. Maybe he went to take them out. Whatever it might have been. Maybe because he even says like they must have already known that, or he must have already known that they were close with Dumbledore, and they wouldn't sort with him. Now we find out there's an actual real reason behind all of this and prophecy and everything and Snape and the whole 9 yards. But it's really cool to see this perspective, I guess, from the wizarding world. Like the Potters were well respected. They were awesome. Right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And the way Hagrid tells it is like, again, very emotional. So he's trying to, tell Harry, especially because he rescued Harry as a baby, and he's like, he was just a year old. He came to your house and he can't say it. He's struggling. And then he blew his nose with a sound like a foghorn. And I just wanted to compare or to listen in. What's a foghorn sound like?
Poor guy. Is that what his nose sounds like every time I mean, really, that's loud,
I know. He was shook.
Yeah.
You know who killed him? You know who killed him?
You know who killed him.
You know who killed him?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Chuckling at your own jokes. Talking about strong, powerful wizard families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, list them off.
No one ever lived after he decided to kill them. No one except you, Harry. And he killed some of the best witches and wizards of the age.
Yep. Who were they?
The McKinnons. And I have them right here. The McKinnons, the Bones, and the Pruitts.
Pruitts, yeah.
The Bones rings a bell, definitely. Susan Bones, Amelia Bones. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. The McKinnons.
Okay.
Do you have them pulled up?
No, I thought you were pulling them up.
I have them. No, sorry, yeah. So the McKinnons were powerful wizarding family. It's not really known if they're pure blood or both magical and Muggle heritage. They were slaughtered by Death Eaters at the height of the First Wizarding War in mid-1981, as they were connected to the Order of Phoenix. According to Igor Karkaroff, Travers was among those involved. The only known member of this family is the late Marlene McKinnon, who was a member of the Order, and when Lily Potter heard of their deaths, she cried all night, and we find that out in her letter. They were mentioned in Lily Evans' letter. She stated that Peter Pettigrew had looked sad when he visited, but she believed it was because of what happened to the McKinnons. The Potters and the McKinnons were possibly good friends, as Lily cried when she heard of their deaths.
Yeah. Gosh.
Wow. So
it's kind of cool. It's like a one-line thing where there's like these different families, the McKinnons, the Bones.
Mm-hmm.
So like we do know Susan Bones, who is actually the like the niece to Edgar and Amelia Bones,
right?
Who were killed, right?
Yes.
Which is wild. So Susan is in the story and has some connection there, but
and later her aunt is killed as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Amelia Bones,
that's
who's
right.
Madame Bones in the Wizengamot.
Yep.
She
It's
was probably murdered by, or might have been murdered by Voldemort himself, because she must have been an extremely powerful witch. Where does it say? Sorry.
So I wonder. So like Amelia Bones again, that was her brother, like Edgar, and then his wife. So Edgar Bones and Amelia Bones, it looks like they are brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
Her brother was killed in 1981, and then she's killed in 1996.
Yes. Yeah.
So wild. And then Susan again is again.
But Susan's parents, they live, right? They're alive.
They are still, though. It looks like her father is a brother to Amelia Bones and Edgar Bones.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the younger one. I'm guessing that's maybe the younger brother. What it looks like Amelia was was older, and then Edgar was born second, and there was a third son. They don't really have a name,
Okay.
just Mr.
Yeah.
Bones. And so Susan again was a neat.
Right.
Her uncle and aunt were
Yeah.
killed, and her cousins were killed.
Right.
So it's
That's
sort of a
terrible.
crazy thing for Susan to have to kind of go through. But
Yeah. And some of the members of the order refer to not Susan, sorry, Amelia Bones as one of the greatest witches of her time.
Yeah, I know, right? Which is awesome.
That
We don't really
amazes
think
me.
about those characters as much, but yeah, she's legit. So
Okay, and the last one that got me the most because I had no idea Pruitt. Pruitt was not a name that I really remembered.
Yeah,
But get this, okay.
tell it to me.
So that was the surname of a pureblood wizarding family and one of the Sacred 28. They were related to the Black, Weasley, and Macmillan families, and then have more distant other relations.
Okay.
With the deaths of Fabian and Gideon in the First Wizarding War, the status of the Pruitt family is unknown. However, it continued in the female line through the children of Molly Weasley because Molly Weasley is their sister.
Say what now? So she was a Pruitt?
Fabian and Gideon and Molly were siblings.
Wow.
That's Pruitt is her last name.
Holy smoke. I never even thought about who.
Right?
Molly Weasley, Molly Pruitt. Wow. Some of you probably out there are like, yeah, guys, come on, where you at? But I mean, I never looked into that.
no.
That's cool. Because you got me thinking about I went and looked up the Sacred 28, which according to the author of the Pure Blood Directory, 28 British families that were still, quote, truly pure blood by the 1930s. And you have all the families there. Abbott, Avery, Black, Burlstrode, Burke, Caro, Crouch, Folly, Flint, Gaunt, Greengrass. Yep, Lestrange, Longbottom, Macmillan, Malfoy, Knott, Ollivander, Parkinson, Pruitt, Rosier, Rowell, Selwyn, Shacklebolt. Wow. Shafik, Slughorn, Travers, Weasley, and Yaxley.
Wow.
That's wild. We could do, good God, we could actually go through each of those families. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yes.
To go through and do like a study of those families.
They are somehow all related, I think. Like do a big, like, what do you call it? The family tree.
Family tree, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is really interesting. So when, the Pruitts are killed, it's like that's Molly's family, and she's probably upset about that.
Yeah.
Mary's Arthur Weasley. Let's go. Shout out to her. I love her so much. So.
Yeah. So that was super interesting to just look up the names. And I love that when authors drop little names or knickknacks like that, and you can look them up and there's whole connection story behind it. It's cool.
Like
it's
even in the first book, before any of that's done and she releases the first book, it's like it's already created in your mind this imagination of like, who were the other families? Because if our names or if we're not in the story, it's nice to create a world that we could actually live in or be in or know people or whatever. And so that I feel like is really neat that they're in there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Right. What else you got?
Just Hagrid. He was watching Harry very sadly, as he kind of takes it all in and
for sure.
processes
It's a lot.
And Uncle Vernon, the nerve that man got.
Yeah.
He's still trying to prevent Harry from going.
Oh yeah.
And then, he's like weirdos. He's talking about how weird they were and he doesn't deny it.
This is the bad part where he's really mean about
the world's better off without them, in my opinion.
Terrible.
And I'm like, wow.
That's too far.
Still your wife's sister.
Yeah, that is the part where like, all right, now it's all revealed here, and that's an awful thing to say.
It is.
So, never say anything like that.
But still, sorry, it doesn't really fit in what we just said, but I just noted that down earlier. Vernon has pride. He's not giving up, right? He could have. I'm like, why doesn't he?
He for sure doesn't want anything to do with this. Like that is through and through. He's willing to go to great lengths to stay ordinary and to stay away from it all.
But at the same time, he's
determined.
fighting here to keep Harry around and send him to Stonewall High.
Yeah.
Basically, I was just trying to say he's very proud, like, man, still, like, his idea of the world, you know, trying to defend that here.
Well, even like later on, like he'll continue with this when he wants to keep up the image that he's disciplined his nephew and this weird or oddness that you might sense from him. Don't worry, I've taken care of it, you know, and it's odd. So it's a major flaw for him.
Where would you sort Vernon if he was a Hogwarts student?
Well, because he's casting spells, clearly, Mimble Wimbling over there under his breath. Maybe he's a squib. Maybe he is a squib. Maybe he is. Maybe he's descended from squibs.
Yeah, we had a theory
You know what I mean?
that why does he hate it all so much? Because he also
and then
had
he and
some
Petunia
bad...
kind of also. There's
bonded over
another.
that.
Yeah, they bond over it, right? There's another story.
No, that's by no means canon. That was just a fun theory. But where would you, like, personality-wise, where would you
He's super
sort him?
ambitious. He's like with the drill bits and wanting to, again, just whatever it takes to get where he wants to be or to do what he wants to do. Yeah. He's not really, you know. I feel like he'd be a Slytherin. Yeah,
not because he's mean, not because what he said, but because of his ambition and his
personality
and more worried about, you know, his own well-being.
Yeah.
Instead of, and his family maybe, but otherwise, yeah. Yep, same. Would agree, 100%. Yeah.
What about Petunia? Where would you sort her? Hufflepuff, unfortunately, but
you think so? She's very to the people that she loves.
Yes,
she is very loyal, hardworking. I think so.
I think she's hardworking. Yeah,
she's a very hardworking housewife and mother.
I wouldn't say Ravenclaw, just because again,
not necessarily. No.
But and then even Gryffindor, she doesn't have right now. She doesn't have any of the
doesn't fit really. No.
Yeah, characteristics of that house.
Yeah.
So it sucks to say it, but I guess I mean we take the rest in Hufflepuff, so that's what we do over here, the misfits.
Yeah.
So. But
we don't really know, like, this whole family thing. I'm not a huge fan of, though.
What do you mean?
Well, I think we discussed that at some point. That families usually get sorted into the same house.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not the case. That just happens to be a Weasley thing, and I don't think that's always.
Well, Malfoy's entire family was.
I'm saying there are certain families that probably, because again, it's sort of like that's their family. They teach the same values. Yeah, yes. All that kind of stuff. So that sort of makes sense. But then there's also like Sirius, for example.
Oh yeah, he was. Yep, he was kind of an outsider in his family, and the Patil sisters. Yeah, they are. I know in the movie they're both in Gryffindor, which is not true. They're in Gryffindor and Ravenclaw.
Yeah. So. I like that better because you can't be the same across the board, but it makes sense too that some families might have all their children in one house and they're proud of that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So, it's cool. All right, what else we got?
All right. I thought it was cool that when Hagrid kind of said, some say that Voldemort died after that. You know, like Harry wants to know what happened to him, and he's like, I don't know if he had any or enough human left in him to die. Uh-huh. And I was like, wow, how right Hagrid is about that, actually. His theory, like, he just throws that out there because he was almost like...
Hey, he either says it himself, he heard it from Dumbledore, maybe.
Maybe.
But
that's the theory,
you're right, though. What he says is technically pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So...
Because he split his soul, which is
There's not much human in him left. You know?
Yeah. And then later, so Hagrid finishes the story, and I love this, how Hagrid just looks at Harry, you know, with warmth and respect, and
he's happy to see him again.
What?
He's happy to see him again.
He is. 11 years later.
Yeah.
And Harry gets the notion, oh, this must have been a mistake. This can't be true. How can I be a wizard,
I can't do those
right?
things. Right, yeah.
And I feel like, we all know that feeling when it's called like a more extreme version of that is like an imposter syndrome, right? Where you are I've heard a story about a girl who always got the best grades in medical school.
Yeah.
She started being a doctor, worked at a hospital, and she kind of went to get a coach because she had terrible imposter syndrome. She's like, people think I'm good at this. People think I know all this stuff. People think I can save lives, but I feel like I don't belong. I have no idea. I'm not good enough for this. I'm not a doctor at all. And I just thought about how, it's terrible when people have that. And I do get that sometimes. Yeah. Everyone probably gets it sometimes, especially when you start somewhere. When you start first as a teacher.
Oh, for sure.
You have
I'm a total imposter.
Major imposter. I think every teacher when they start, unless you have like years of experience coaching kids or babysitting. Till you make
it the first year.
Absolutely.
Like
100%. You feel like
because the kids are like, this guy is an imposter.
Yeah.
He is not a real teacher. He is some guy off the street who's rambling wimbles up here.
But sometimes we have powers that you're not really aware of, and Harry's like, I could never defeat. How am I the one who defeated the Dark Lord? Or
it doesn't make any sense. He
powerful wizard. Yeah,
he has nothing in his life that is really. I mean, it's sort of some odd things have happened, but he still feels like I can't be this wizard. I can't be that person. Like, look at my life. Look at where I'm at. And it's just. Hagrid encourages him. Yeah, you're gonna be a thumping good wizard. Yeah. As soon as you're trained up a bit.
Yeah, and you, like you mentioned earlier, you have already done things that just think back. Have you never made stuff happen? Mm-hmm. And then Harry's like, oh yeah. And that's what we learned in the first chapters. That's leading up to this, where Harry can look back, and we as a reader, we also kind of experienced that a little bit with Harry. There was a lot of things actually that I made happen that are unexplainable and weird. Yeah. And Uncle Vernon still doesn't give up. He's like, he's not going to that school, not paying for it. He's going to Stonewall High, and he'll be grateful for it. And I'm like, he really believes that, I think. That Harry would be grateful to go to Stonewall High and just live in the Muggle world.
He should be grateful to live under the stairs, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep, totally. And cool thing here, his name's been down ever since he was born, says Hagrid, for Hogwarts.
Yeah, which we talked about in our extendable ear edition, and the quill, the feather,
magical feather. Yeah,
the magical feather.
Once you're born, you're
pen.
A wizard, witch. Your name's down for Hogwarts.
Still writing down names today, hopefully.
But Vernon is not paying for some crackpot old fool to teach him magic tricks.
Yeah, you tell him, Vernon.
Wrong move.
You tell him.
Wrong move in front of Rubius Hagrid.
Right. But also, Hagrid does something really stupid here, though. This is dumb.
Yeah.
I gotta say. Like, you want to put a pigtail on somebody, put one on Vernon.
Right. Why did he choose Dudley?
Why did he choose Dudley?
Because Dudley didn't even, like I said, he didn't even eat the cake. He was probably terrified behind his mom, wasn't he? I think he hid behind Petunia. And Hagrid, he didn't really know how Harry was treated by Dudley.
Maybe he missed.
So,
maybe
maybe
the swished right past him or whatever, and he.
Yeah, and we talked about it. So for us, it's like, for them, it's huge. They have to.
It's assault.
It's assault
from their
because
perspective. Yeah.
He now has that pigtail and it doesn't go away, so he lives with that pigtail for, I don't know, days or weeks, and they have to have it removed through a surgery.
Right. I made the joke that, years later when Dudley is writing, Christmas card, they're on Christmas card terms or whatever, I was like, did Harry ever say, hey, you still got that pigtail scar? Like, what?
Wow.
So ridiculous. But the other thing, too, is that there probably was a magic solution, and maybe even Hagrid, we don't know, sent a magical option to them, but they refused to use it because they're so afraid of it. But at the same time, like, he doesn't reverse it right away, doesn't do anything, so it kind of sucks because, you see transfiguration happen, you see kids doing this sort of stuff to one another in school, and you fix it, and it's whatever.
Right, he doesn't get the magnitude of this action.
Yeah, that they're
to
not,
Muggles.
They're not going to undo it with the proper magic.
He doesn't. I don't.
And
think
so therefore, it's now leaving a physical scar, which sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, bad move on Hagrid there. So
and that's because he's so loyal to Dumbledore, and that makes me wonder. Yeah. I just don't understand why he's a Gryffindor, honestly, because his
Yeah.
I think he values loyalty so much.
Yeah.
But also he's I don't know, he's courageous. And
Well, it's
stuff,
one of those things where, again, I love the idea that you can be in multiple houses and that you kind of can have personalities that fit in one or the other.
Right.
But like for me, even if the Sorting Hat was telling me, Gryffindor would be great, I'd be like, I'm out. I don't want to be in Gryffindor. Right. I actively did not want to be in Gryffindor, especially when I read about the Sorting Hat and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm a Hufflepuff.
Yeah. I
am a Hufflepuff, and I love Cedric Diggory, and I love that they are like underdogs in this whole thing, and I'm cool with that. So
Amelia Bones was a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Hufflepuffs. So anyway, yeah, so I'm cool with him. Maybe he fit in both houses, and he was like, no, I want to be in Gryffindor.
Yeah.
And so you have some say in the matter.
Right.
Even though it's a Sorting Hat.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing that I wanted to point out too was that he uses his umbrella to cast spells. His umbrella probably contained some sort of parts of his old wand that was destroyed when he was expelled.
Right. Yep.
And just a little teaser, because we're going to talk about that in more depth in the extendable ear edition here in a little bit. But he is very skilled at non-verbal magic, which is very difficult to perform.
Yeah, so
just to throw that in there, because he doesn't say a single spell. Because
true.
he had to learn how to do that to kind of undercover do some magic here and there.
You would think too, for the secrecy, right, act or whatever, that more wizards would really have to do that and know when to do it and stuff. Or just because you don't want all that terminology out there and then exposing sort of I don't know, the wizarding world. So but good on him for
Yep.
That.
And once Dudley, the Dursleys are all in shock and they retreat to the other room. Vernon finally gives up. He doesn't want his family to be involved in this anymore. They just go to the next room, to the other room, and I think they just stay there until Harry and Hagrid leave. Which is not until the next morning, so they kind of want to get a few hours of sleep because they have a big day coming up. They got to get all Harry's school equipment, books, all that good stuff. So, right before they go to bed, though, I think Harry asks Hagrid a little bit about, why he's not supposed to do magic, and Hagrid asks Harry, please don't tell anyone, and Harry's like, why were you expelled?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's getting late, and we've got lots to do tomorrow.
Right.
Says Hagrid loudly, so he totally ignores Harry's question, but he gives him his coat, which is
full of mice and pockets and stuff, right?
And so he says you can kip under that, and I was like, what kip? What's that mean? I mean, I could make sense of it through the
you could kip
sentence,
under there.
But sleep. Basically sleep, but especially in a place that's not your own. Almost like when you say crash on your couch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Under that. I just thought it was funny.
That's funny.
But that's it. Yeah, they go to sleep.
Sweet.
And I mean, like I said in the summary, I don't think I could have slept that night. My head would be full of. I would try to do magic right away. Honestly.
Yeah.
I'd be so excited. I would just want to go right now.
Right. Hermione was already like, let's go get these books.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go. Let me read these.
I want a little story about Hermione and how she
got her letter.
And the person who told her parents and all that stuff. I want a little.
Yeah. You wonder if J.K. Rowling could have ever done little. I mean, I know she did some Pottermore articles and stuff, which was tons of fun for people to read and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'd be cool to get more of those, even just little tiny in-between stories. They did that, and people are going to laugh at me that I even know this. There's a sub-story in the Twilight series.
Okay.
It's like the Bree, what is her name? Some other little vampire that was from another city, and she gets out of this little vampire faction. And it's a whole little in-between story. And I think J.K. Rowling could have done a lot more of those. That would have been kind of neat.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I know. Someone's probably laughing at me right now. I can't believe Ez knows that. Outside of the main books, there's
I love it.
Extra book. So I love reading books, though. And so as a high school teacher, I felt like I had to, it's actually kind of fun, addictive reading. A lot of these adolescent novels. So, all right, friends. Well, hey, time for us to move into the advice of the week.
Basically, I just want to tell everyone, your time will come. And what that means, or what I mean by that, really, while you can't always rely, on a big giant to come and get you, if you don't feel comfortable where you are right now, start changing things, little by little if necessary, and believe that your time will come.
Yeah.
Harry had to go through so much, and his childhood was definitely not fun or easy or, encouraging. Mm-hmm. But I strongly believe that there's always ups and downs, and for him, there was a big up waiting for him. And there's also more challenges coming.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Just believe in that.
I think it's actually a really, really good point. So that your time will come if you feel like it's not there already. Mm-hmm. It may have been there at one point and you feel like you lost it, and then you've got to find something again. But it does. You do have to kind of keep working on just your habits.
Yeah.
We truly believe in the power of habits, by the way. Just to throw that out there, friends. Like if you can really get into the power of habit building and be honest about like maybe bad habits in your life, and then look for things to kind of improve on. And I already know I have bad habits and things that I drink too much Diet Pop, for example, and stuff like things that I've got to work on or whatever. But there's other things that I've worked on that make me feel so much better. And I do feel like time will come when if you're kind of going through a spot where you feel rough and you feel down or whatever, start to change things. Listen to a different podcast, right? Or surround yourself by different friends. Actively go out there and try to do something different. I guess.
Yeah.
Scary sometimes. It's hard because we get used to our comfort zones and stuff. But
But hey, the habit will become your new comfort zone. Just believe in that. You got to have some. I don't know, just trust in the power of it, and not to say like with your time will come. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, we often get into another bad habit, which is just to wait. Oh yeah, next year once I have paid off the house, or I have this degree, or I have this or that, or this or that, or this. Wow.
This, that, this, those, that, and these.
Once I have it all, then my life will be awesome and nothing can change that. No, it's always up and down, but just trust when you're in like we said, in a, valley, that you'll be up there soon. So that's all.
A bit of encouragement.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is probably rivaling. That's probably because of all the Mimble-Wimbles we've had in the episode, but this is going to be, I think, our longest episode. So thanks for hanging in there with us, friends. Wow. We even split the chapter up into two, and we still...
Maybe that's what made it so long.
Maybe that was the problem, actually. We'll try to do that a little differently. But anyways, it's been fun, and I enjoy talking about, Harry getting his letter, the excitement of that. I'm really excited. This is sort of the in-between chapter of like the first sort of 3 miserable Dursley chapters. The excitement builds here, and then really next chapter takes off. We'll have some special guests back on the show, which will be fun. It's going to be cool. Our first guest, actually. And then we'll have some more guests planned out in the future, which is good because I feel like sometimes it's nice to have other voices and perspectives and things like that. And we do truly want to build like a community, friends and people who are interested in this stuff and want to chat.
Just want to nerd out about all this stuff and know who the Pruitts were and Amelia Bones and
some of you are like, some of you are like, let's go, get with it, people. And some of you are like, who? And so, by the way, remember too, that is sort of the spirit of us being teachers is that like, no question, and anyone who comes on and wants to guest, we don't know it all, and we don't even pretend to. And we're happy if you come on and you know quite a bit more, or you don't know anything, you just want to share your thoughts on it. I feel like don't be afraid, because we are the most easygoing, friendliest wizards you'll ever meet. So, all right, friends. Well, hey, that is it for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Shell Cottage Radio 94.7 COZY. We hope you'll join us in the future. We thoroughly enjoy meeting new positive Potter people that don't behave like babbling, bumbling bands of baboons.
Baboons.
If you don't want to miss out on the next episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and follow on social media at fleurandbill.
Next time we're going to have a special guest. Oh no, we're going to have 2 special guests actually on the show for the first time and talk about Chapter 5 of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Diagon Alley. So definitely don't miss out on next week's episode. Again, thanks for joining Blur's Book Club in their little shell cottage today. We know it's not much, but it's home.